Hi, my name is April Gareb, and this is my persuasive speech. Today I want to talk about my proposal of why bullying should be looked at as a serious issue and done away with at schools across our nation versus just giving bullies a slap on the hand. They need to be put out of our classrooms and dealt with accordingly. We send our children off to school every day with a hug and a kiss in hopes that they will learn new things and excel in their classes. We expect that the teachers and staff will take good care of them for the time that they're going to be there, giving us no reason to worry. When they arrive home from school and tell us about their day and how the kid at recess pushed them down and made fun of them, we get a little upset, but we don't really think that much about it. After all, we know the old saying, kids will be kids. Well, there's a fine line between messing around and bullying. We as parents, teachers, and school officials tend to not take things too seriously when a child says they are being bullied. It's easy to mark off as just kids being kids. But there are children suffering every day because of the adults failing to recognize the severity of the bullying that's taken place. We hear about the case in 2010 when a father walks in to find his daughter, a high school freshman from Massachusetts, hanging by a scarf that's been tied around her neck. She was bullied by a group of 6 teens until she found that she just couldn't take it anymore. Or what about the 12-year-old girl from Florida in 2013 that jumped to her death off of a cement factory tower after months of being terrorized by a group of up to 15 girls through text messages and online posts? It's time for America, the mothers, fathers, teachers, school advisors, and staff to wake up and put bullying in its place. It's time to stop it in its tracks before it keeps taking the lives of our children that can't fight the battle alone. Bullying needs to be looked at as a form of abuse. We wouldn't just sit back and watch a child being abused in the home without taking action. So why is it that we just sit back and watch our children being bullied until they're looking for a way out? Even when suicide isn't the choice they make, statistics show that childhood bullying is linked to all sorts of problems that follow them long into adulthood. It's time for the school to crack down on punishment and get these bullies out of the classrooms. If a child is suspected of bullying, they should be brought in and questioned to see what's going on, and if it continues and they're brought in a second time, they should be placed in an out-of-school suspension type discipline. Only then will it get through to them that this is a serious issue that needs to be stopped. As a parent of 3 children, I've had to deal with several bullying issues already, so I know how it makes a child feel and just how deep that it cuts. Until you do something about it as a parent or as an authority figure, it will continue on day by day. When you get it in your head that this is going to stop, only then will it do so. According to an article in USA Today, about 30% of students in the United States are involved in bullying on a regular basis, either as a victim, a bully, or as both. An NEA survey found that school employees see bullying as a serious problem and believe it is their responsibility to stop the bullying, but yet lack the know-how and training to do so. That goes to show that we, as parents and adult leaders, need to put our foot down and put a stop to this mess. Schools can find ways to do just about everything, but yet they're admitting that they lack the knowledge for what to do in circumstances like this. Childhood bullying has lasting effects long into adulthood that can be prevented by proper procedures, disciplines, and by our authority figures and parents. Studies have been conducted that show children that have been bullied throughout their childhood suffer long-term effects throughout their adulthood as well. I would like to bring up 4 major areas that bullying may cause children to suffer in. The first area that is affected when children are bullied is, of course, their education. If children are incessantly bullied at school, it's obvious that their mind is not going to be on the work that is being taught, but on the bullies in their class or elsewhere in the school and what they're going to have to go through that day. The second area that is affected, and one that can be the most dangerous, is physical health. We know that stress is a danger in itself. Our bodies do not operate well under stress, and it can cause all sorts of illnesses and diseases if not taken care of. For a child, the need for acceptance is very important. When they have to live every day being bullied and worrying constantly about what others think of them, they can easily fall into a state of depression when it comes to not having any close peers or friends to talk to. The third thing they'll have trouble in is their social relationships. Again, the need for acceptance is a huge deal in childhood. Bullied children rarely have a lot of friends, and it's usually because other kids are scared to talk to the bully and fear that they will be looked down upon by other kids, or that they'll be made of as well for hanging out with the bullied kid. Also, the child that is constantly bullied tends to shy away from crowds and hopes that they won't be noticed. When their personality shapes to that way of living, it's extremely hard to create friendships and socialize with others. Lastly, we'll discuss how they have to deal with psychological problems. Dieter Wolk, a professor in the Department of Psychology and Division of Mental Health and Well-Being, conducted a study in Forbes magazine where he stated, "Bullying can lead to more serious outcomes, severe mental disorders, and a markedly increased risk for suicide. It's important to understand that being bullied, especially chronically over years, has really adverse effects on adult life. Not just health, but whether people can hold down a job, manage their finances, or trust others. In over 6,000 children we followed from day one until they were 17 years, we found highly increased risk of self-harm and suicide attempts. Bullying can lead to such a loss of potential in people." Children that are bullied, especially long-term, have a lot more to suffer from than just the worrying of the mean kids at school. They have a long road ahead of them that is full of all sorts of problems that stem from the bullying that they've experienced. So now that we know what a child has to suffer through, not only on a daily basis, but throughout their adult life as well, maybe the schools can step up and implement a plan to deal with these bullies. They need to do away with the petty slap-on-the-hand types of punishment and start giving these children a reason to straighten up and stop this activity. Only when it's getting inconvenient for these kids will they realize they're not going to get away with this type of behavior. Please, teachers, school attendants, and parents as well, we've got to step in and help these children that can't speak for themselves and for fear that they will look childish or fearful for saying something. We've got to notice the signs and red flags that are raised when these kids are at their wits' ends of knowing what to do. We've got to be the ones to put bullying where it should be, and that is out of our classrooms. And before we end, I'm just going to show you this poster that just says, "Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words do just as much damage." Bullying takes the lives of 15 to 25 children each year. You can help to lower the numbers.